Hi YouTube, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button yet, before this video starts, click it right down there. Hit the like and subscribe button, it means the world to me. This video here, I asked Twitter and everybody that follows me, what do you think of social media and Twitter as, help for mental illness and sobriety? And some of the responses I got are great, so here they are. So, thanks for watching, and you know what? This is my life. I am in a hotel room, and it's funny because I have a real time life job that I do, and then I do this as just a passion of helping people, and I get stuck in these hotel rooms when I'm out on the road, which is actually a lot, but I don't mind. Sometimes they upgrade me to big suites and stuff like this, and then I get chairs and stuff that spin around, and I don't know, I'm obsessed when it comes to getting spin around in circles on the chairs. But I put out this question on Twitter in regards to mental health and to see what everybody's responses were. And you know what, I got a lot of good interaction. It was a little bit more than what I actually expected. The nice thing about Twitter is you get a very good kind of following, and you're following other people, and it becomes a very good environment sometimes for you, especially if you have questions when you throw one out like I did here. And so this is a question that I ended up throwing out. Question I wanted to throw out there. Do you think Twitter is it good for someone struggling with sobriety or mental illness, and why? Curious on what the thoughts are. So I put this up on the 26th of November, got a decent amount of likes and retweets and responses, and I really thought a lot of the responses weren't some of them exactly what I thought they would be. But then also the general consensus, I really do feel that, if you're looking for support and that you need support, Twitter's a great source of it. Facebook isn't as real time. A lot of times you got friends and family on it, and maybe you don't want them to know what you're going through. Instagram, you're pretty much communicating through DMs, or you're communicating through pictures, and you really don't get a conversation going like you do on Twitter, which I think is a great source of added support if you don't have it in your life. Face-to-face support I think is the best. But if you don't have that, you got to start reaching out and figuring out where else can I find the support and what other support is out there. So here are a few of the responses. Kim Marie, she responded back, yes, it's personally helped me a lot. Met wonderful people here that I love and will always stay in touch with. Wonderful support I've gotten. Never thought I would meet so many awesome friends. And Kim was one of the first people that reached out to me, and you know what, it really is, and she put it the best way. You get a lot of people that will help you more on a personal basis with Twitter when it comes to questions that you ask or things that you're trying to just figure out in life, because let's face it, it can be difficult, it can be a challenge for sure. Next one I got, Jeff Monroe, he responded back, my life as I knew it came to abrupt end in 2014, and once I started seeing all the people in recovery and reading the tweets, Twitter has become my window to the world. So many people here make my heart smile daily. It's true. I get a lot of joy out of Twitter. Sometimes just when it comes to just the interaction and just even rooting out there the support and giving out the support. There's a lot of different little things that you can find the little joys in life sometimes. And the biggest thing too is if you're in recovery, it reminds you so much that you're not alone. Another one, Sobriety Rocks. It definitely helped me stay on track with my sobriety. There's so much support on here. It's amazing. There really is a ton of support on Twitter. If you're not following, Recovery Posse, type in sobriety, type in sober life. Just in the search bar, you'd be surprised what comes up. Tons of people who are going through sobriety, and tons of support that's offered out there for you. So if you need that extra support, you're not getting it from meetings, and you're not getting it from your sponsor per se or your family, and you just need that little boost of added support, I think Twitter is a great way to go. Scribby Sober Not, it's easy for me to write and chat because, well, sobriety and ADHD are my main foci here. Anxiety is at play too. I try to be mindful of who I follow. Would never have guessed I'd find a shame-free space on Twitter, but I feel so welcome here. And there is a huge welcoming environment there. Don't get me wrong, there are, some issues and some challenges that can come up with Twitter and some of the people that you can run into. But all in all, it is a great support system. Julia, it helps me a lot. We had a bunch of comments actually back and forth on that. Salem and Selves, yes, it's worldwide, so the chances of finding someone to reach out to is good. Sometimes the venting, the being heard, is all a person needs. You can't get that in person, and it can be easier spilling to a stranger who understands. It may not fix, but sure helps me. You know what? It helps me too, and it's a great source of venting, and it's a great source of relief. To be able to get that out there and to get to the input back. And it really is. You never know who you're going to come in contact with, and you get so much more access to tools and resources out there of what can help you and what can't help you. And maybe somebody's tried something that really worked for them, and you go, hey, I'm going to give that a shot. Or you know what, you can share some of your own tools that you found, with others that are reaching out. I reach out a lot when it comes to people, and they're curious about, what AA is all about. They're a little bit cautious, they're a little nervous about it, and really telling them, hey, this is what that program is all about. It does help, and here's kind of the results, and here's what I found out of it. Tyler, yeah, I think it very much depends on the people you follow and interact with. Some days I read positive posts and make me feel hopeful. Other days I land on posts that make me feel more drained and hopeless than I thought possible. So true. When anything social media, you have to sometimes skip past, because it can some days be emotionally draining and just too much, especially if you're dealing with any kind of mental illness and you're looking for support and you just read a lot of these negative posts and negative commentary. It can be a lot, and so it's definitely one of those things that you have to kind of time monitor a little bit. Dr. Ashley, for me personally, it's helped a lot to have found people struggling with similar things as me, along with the encouragement has been life changing. I wish I joined Twitter sooner. It's really true, and I wish I would have joined Twitter sooner also, especially when it came to my sobriety, just because I found such a great community out there of, just keeping accountable, and just, it's almost like having that diary that people kind of input on that you don't really know, but you have a common bond with, and so having their input is almost, it's welcomed. Sarah, and I love Sarah because I follow her, and she does these pictures that she smiles daily. Just those are one of those little joys that I find on social media. Yes, it helped me build a sense of community, but does not replace human contact or interaction. All of my friends on here, like you, have my number, and I have theirs. I'm a keeper named by another member. I always stay in touch and reach out when I need to, and my friends. What she said is really true. It doesn't replace that human interaction and that human connection, but it does a lot for us when we need that support. Human interaction is the most important. I think that we've become a really tech oriented society, and actually I don't think we have. Especially if you look at the news and everything. That having that human contact and that human interaction is so important, especially if you're going through sobriety, for example. Don't use Twitter to replace going to meetings at all, and don't replace it with a sponsor. Go out and get a sponsor. If you're going in mental illness and you're fighting depression and anxiety, don't use Twitter as your doctor. Make sure that you find the right therapist to also help you along with what you're going through. Very, very Foxy, very cool. Yes, yes, yes. So many people, there's always someone to chat with. If you need a little kick in the ass or some advice, helps me. No, I'm not alone with this. I'm bipolar and been on Twitter for 10 years and found a wonderful Twit support system. You know what? That's the whole thing is building that support system around you. Can't agree even more with this, because it definitely, having that support system makes all the difference in the world, and just knowing that we're not alone makes all the difference in the world. And yes, I'm a little biased towards Twitter over Instagram and Facebook, just because, I have a closed Facebook group with almost 1,000 members in it. And the interaction there isn't quite what it is even on Twitter. Twitter's just more of that interaction, and along with the tools and just having these outside sources kind of piping in their ideas, and they're not necessarily negative ideas, they're just throwing out ideas, and it's like, hey, okay, I didn't think about this. Greg, I think being on here with others like myself is cool, because everybody gets each other and no judgment. I could see how it could be hard though with all the drug related stuff on here. I like it here though. I met some awesome peeps. I met this guy on here, and he actually lives near me. I have to hook up with him here one of these days. But it is true. You do meet some great people, and you build this sense of community when it comes to any kind of online social media that you do. And it comes down to, again, just having that support. Surely Sober Not Again, it's been a pleasant surprise for me. I kind of stumbled in here only a week or so ago, feels like. And found all you wonderful folks and the thread. And the thread that they're responding to is the Recovery Posse thread. If you type in Recovery Posse, you find a great support system out there of addicts in recovery. And it does also have some mental health and mental illness, help too with it. I know I'm anonymous here, but I swear I'm real in person, and I have been able to open up here in a way I don't in real life, and that's really true. And that's one of the great things, especially when it comes to Twitter. Facebook is your profile, it's your family and friends. Instagram, same thing. When it comes to Twitter, though, you can make account, not necessarily have to share who you are, and you can open up. And it's one of those things I preach always on a daily basis of reaching out for support and getting support. And I throw out my phone number out there, but it's also being able to share. And a lot of times it's easier to talk to a stranger than it is a family member or friend, because there's no judgment and there's no biased opinions, and no one's telling you how to fix yourself or how to do this. And it really makes a huge difference for us. Straight out of Ackland, it's impossible to say yes or no. It depends on the person. Twitter can offer great support, but not like going through a program. You're getting random opinions, and that's a dice roll. Also, there's a chance of digital addiction. It's real, man. You can't live your sobriety online. That is true. Digital addiction is fact. And what is digital addiction? It's this right here. Yep, that's what digital addiction is. And it is actually, when you Google it, the definition that you get. And it is one of those things, especially if you become a mental health and a big advocate, it's very easy to get addicted to Twitter. It's very easy to get addicted to social media, because you want to keep throwing out the support. And oh my goodness, if I'm not part of this right now, I'm not helping all these people, and I'm letting people down. No, that's not the case, trust me. There's a ton of different people out there. There's a ton of support out there. And you really have to limit the time and everything that you can spend towards social media, because if you don't, you do become addicted to it, especially if you have an addictive personality. So, I mean, the bottom line really comes down to is, there's a lot of different opinions out there. This doesn't replace that human connection. Does it help? It definitely helps a lot. If you're looking for, just a good support system, social media is a great place for it. It's definitely another place to be able to share and be able to get your thoughts and opinions out there. When it comes to, replacing the doctor, when it comes to replacing the program, with AA or NA, depending on what you're in, it's an additive. It's not necessarily a supplement for it. So, don't replace any of the other activities that you're doing or other things that you're doing. But if you're looking for that additional support, this is just some others, their input on what they feel. I feel it's a great tool. A lot of people do also. You know what? Take a look into it. Definitely, it's worth a try. Again, though, just always, of course, limit your time to social media. Hope you got a lot out of this. I love sharing these tools and resources that I come across, and also other people's opinions, because it makes such a difference to us, and to know what everybody else thinks and what their thoughts are on when it comes down to how do we help each other. Because let's face it, people helping people does a huge thing, and it does a huge thing for us, and it helps us heal too. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, click the subscribe button, like the video, comment. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And you know what? I hope you got something out of it, because I always do every time I do one of these videos. It's a reminder that, we can make a difference. And if we want to make a difference, all it takes is a little bit of effort.